Welcome in to another episode of Untold Stories. We're going to jump right into it. We'll briefly just mention that music's provided by various people in the description, and if we ever go to a battle map, it's on Owlbear Radio. But, yeah, let's not waste any time. Let's get straight into it. So, previously, you guys fought off the Black Claw Bandits. A local bandit group who decided to frequent the auditorium at the end of the week to try and make some money off all the people on bars within there. But as I say, you beat them off. That's a bad phrase. I'm glad Emma's not here. Primarily through some interesting methods, and in some cases literally put the fear of God into them. You then had a conversation with the Scale Guard captain about those events, handed over the unconscious leader of the bandits, and were warned that maybe the locals wouldn't be too chuffed with the idea of powerful magic on show. Although Tauri did take the blame for it with her writ of permission in the event of life or death situations. After an evening relaxing and in some places trying to clean yourselves up, next morning you woke to find the stables were closed off, and a number of wagons in the courtyard still waiting to leave town, which was weird. Turned out a ferocious attack had occurred in the stables the night previously. Balrick became instantly worried about his goat being dead, and all of the goods on its back with it. After a brief, intense conversation with Captain Poligi, she asked, or she basically hired you to try and figure out what had happened, because she had lost half a dozen of her Scale Guard in the last 24 hours and was rather short-staffed, with promises of a wagon for whatever your journey would take next, as an initial payment at least. So we'll pick up there with you leaving the Scale Guard station as you kind of head back towards the courtyard and the stables. The various wagon caravans are still waiting on the cobblestones. A few have managed to hitch up horses or oxen, but most of them are kind of still without beasts of burden. There seems to be a growing murmur of voices as you get closer. Clearly a lot of people are getting frustrated. A handful of Scale Guard are trying to calm things down, and you can see a short, portly man wearing like a fine tan outfit is in discussion with three of the caravan leaders. Is there anything any of you would like to do?
Tauri's going to move a bit closer and just listen, see what's happening.
Alright, completely. What was that? I really do apologise.
So, as you're approaching the town square where all the caravans are, you can make out that a few Scale Guard are trying to keep people, or answer some questions and trying to stop tensions from rising. There's also a portly man, shorter than all of you normal-sized people. Maybe about Tauri's height, but a little shorter. In very finely tailored clothes, tan in colour, who's having a conversation with three of the caravan leaders, including Mika Imza, the guy that you'd been travelling with.
Have we been in the stable yet? Have we been allowed in the...
Not yet. You're still heading down. The stable's the opposite side of the courtyard from where you were.
Across from these people?
You essentially have to go past them to reach the stables, yeah.
I mean, Balrick's probably just going to barge past them and go to the stables. He doesn't care about whatever that squabble is. Might literally carve a path through them.
Fair enough.
Can I try and like
No words, just
walk past, but really slowly, so I can like try and like eavesdrop, like.
You and Tauri can roll perception checks.
$18.
13.
You pick up just kind of snippets because you are walking past. You don't kind of full conversation. You can see, as say, the dwarf that you had seen Ximori and Balrick come into town with. Also a red dragonborn and a human woman who's like just got a jacket tied around the waist. It's clear she's been doing some work. They're all essentially arguing with this man about why they're not being allowed to leave. Like, they don't have a clear answer. And there's a lot of frustration. Man, on the other hand, and now you get closer, he's got a very well-groomed moustache and beard, kind of overly cultivated, considering the kind of nature of this town. You would assume he's some sort of noble. He's basically just trying to explain that I'm sure the Scale Guard have a reason for this, and if you would just calm down and sit, all the answers will get answered. Just enjoy your time here for a little bit longer. The town is wonderful, and there's no rush to head to Bricklin City. You're just going to be filling out paperwork there. You might as well enjoy some more tavern. So he's trying to kind of
Keep the peace.
But also doesn't entirely feel like he's got complete control of the situation either.
It has to be said, if someone was saying that to me while I was like impatient for answers, I would absolutely not be pacified by that.
Yeah.
Just in general, it just pissed me off even more. Just like, I
That's
don't want to
clearly
enjoy here. I want to leave.
It's clearly the effect it's having. Like a couple of the Dragonborn starts talking, like mentioning like the produce that they've got that needs to reach Bricklin City, or it's gonna start going off. And I mean, Mike Ims was talking about like he's got a very special delivery that people are waiting on, and if he's not there in time, it's going to become a problem for him. So people are pissed off.
Can I specifically, like, while I'm barging past him, can I specifically, like, shoulder check the well-groomed posh guy?
Yeah.
And by shoulder, I probably mean elbow with his shoulder. But...
Excuse me, tall gentleman, who the hell do you think you are?
I'm just going to grunt it. Just move.
Do you know who I am?
I don't care. I'm going to keep walking. Didn't even look at him, just like, literally just...
He, like, looks around at the rest of you, just going, who is that rude Goliath?
I'm just gonna grin.
Yeah, so since I'm walking like behind Balrick, I'll just be like, he's in a hurry. You may have noticed.
Like a little...
Yes, that's still no reason to rudely body check me as the mayor of this town.
You're the mayor? That's why the fancy.
Well, yes, but that's besides the point right now. You can't go around treating people like that, especially nobles in charge of things.
Noble. Anyways, you don't seem very in charge. I'm gonna be honest, my friend.
He's kind of taken aback by your statements there. Just like, well, it's a very stressful situation that we've not really had to deal with before, and excuse me, I was talking to these individuals.
No, it's so what exactly is going on?
Well, the Scale Guard are currently investigating. And once everything's been sorted out, I'm sure everyone will be allowed to leave, but at the minute there are questions to be had, and frankly not enough horses or oxen around to transport everyone, so people have to make do.
You're gonna question the caravans?
Well, we don't know who's done this or what's done this. It could be one of them.
Oh. Are you going to compensate them? Where I come from, when there's delays, people get compensated. I'm gonna look at the caravan people like.
I'm sure if there is anything of importance, the Agricultural Commission can take care of it. It's not my responsibility for merchants to be ill prepared.
But they're not ill prepared. They're not being allowed to leave. And you said you're the mayor, so you're in charge. So
Yes.
isn't it your responsibility?
Well,
Hardly seems unprepared if where they've gone doesn't have enough to deal with them because of some issue within the town.
that may be the case, but that doesn't either make it my responsibility to compensate them for potential criminal activity. It is procedure in society that law and order is kept.
Did you?
Tauri will say then, yes, but isn't the assumption that if you're in a town, it is the town's responsibility to keep the law and order?
Well, yes, but it's a bit What's your point, though?
If you are saying that they should not need to worry about law and order or should be unprepared for it, if you're the one who is taking responsibility for the law and order in the town when guests are here, it is your duty to compensate them or to make sure that they are looked after while they are stuck here.
I mean, that is not certainly how business is usually handled, as far as I'm concerned. These people are private contractors, not hired or employed by the Empire, and therefore the Empire is not responsible for their expenditure costs. If they do not have contingencies in place, then why should we fork out for them?
If you are refusing to let them leave, then you must compensate them for refusing to let them leave, or let them leave. You cannot say, you may not leave, but I will not give you anything for my decision to hold you here.
It is not my decision to hold them here, it is the Scale Guards, and I am not in charge of the Scale Guards, am I?
But if you are the one who is being the face of it, they should have given you that responsibility. Therefore, perhaps it should be something you find.
I am in charge of the daily runnings of the town. I am not in charge of these people being late to their destination and not having the contingencies to deal with it. Who exactly are you to be bossing me around, anyway?
I'm not bossing you around.
You sound like you are, and I do not like your tone, nor any of yours tones, quite precisely. First of all, one of your party physically assaulted me, and now you are actually interrogating me despite being the mayor of this town, as if I am in the wrong for simply following due process and making sure that lives are safe.
Surely you're the one who would be questioned being the mayor of this town. That puts you at the top, doesn't it?
I'm sure I will have to deal with those further up the chain, yes, and I am trying to get those answers, but I cannot get those answers if all of these people decided to leave now, could I?
But if you're the mayor, aren't you the top of the chain? Surely you're the one the community brought into this place to be the person that they want to, answer the questions.
Do you understand how titles and placements are actually handled at all? Are you actually from the Empire?
Yes.
Well, then you clearly forgotten that...
That insinuation quite rude.
Well, you must not be from around here then, because as far as the Empire has existed for as long as I have lived, this is a title bestowed upon by the Shengzi of the Brecklian Fields. So I wasn't necessarily elected by the common people here. I was put in charge by
so you were put in this just
people.
So you were put in a place out the way to deal with problems that they couldn't be asked to deal with themselves?
No, I was put here. This is a very important place to ensure the travel and trade of certain objects, and I am trusted to make sure this place is kept running.
So you agree you're here to make sure the trade keeps running?
I am here to make sure that everything is kept running safely, and I cannot do that if the culprit were to disappear because they hid on a merchant caravan. Now can I?
Well, yeah, then search the caravan, surely.
We are trying to, but people need to answer questions and we need to figure out what's going on, which is exactly what these fine gentlemen in bronze scale armour are trying to do.
Micah? You there, Micah?
Yeah, what do you want? Is he annoying you as well?
No, they just want to ask a few questions, then they'll probably let you go if all seems.
Yeah, that's all well and good, but to be honest, I kind of need about 6 more horses to pull these fucking wagons, so...
I'm sure we can find that. Or at least, move some of it further on and take some of the caravan now and some of it later on.
Yeah, I mean, that is kind of what I'm considering at this point, but...
It's probably the only way for now, isn't it?
Yeah, I might be able to pull some extra runs from the city and then do the second load when I come back.
Yeah. So how about, you help them out, answer their questions, send the first lot off at least with all the more perishable stuff, so that gets sorted. And then, the other stuff that can wait around a little bit, we can sort that out later on.
Ah,
Good, Mr. Mayor? Sorry, I didn't get your name. I'm assuming it's not Mayor.
I am Jugo Navnit Ambar. If you wish to actually use proper titles, since you are from this empire, as you say. Ignore him. He then turns to the Dragonborn and the human woman. Is like, that sound alright to you then? Shall we work together, get what we can down there, and figure it out once we're in the city? Yeah, alright. I mean, better than hanging around here, answer these fucking questions and get on with it.
There we go then, Jugo. All sorted, yeah?
I
Nice.
don't like you.
I don't like you particularly, but, I'll help you out where I can.
I'm going to go talk to the captain. He walks off.
Send my best wishes.
Well, that's
At
kind
that
of fun.
point, did we technically know more than the mayor did about what was going on at that
Seemed
point?
like it.
I assume
Cool.
in the time that it's taken for this
Lord.
conversation, I would have made it to the stable.
Yes.
I'll be honest, the mayors are largely useless.
They've all
Um,
had a conversation.
Yeah, Togrim would not have been part of that. He wouldn't have wanted
Togrim
to.
followed-
Yeah, he wouldn't have wanted to be anywhere near the mayor, especially with
Togrim,
Aderyn,
what you would have
interrogating
noticed
him.
is one of the wagons, there's a couple of people working away at it, it sustained some damage.
Mhm.
That might have interested your attention.
Cool. I probably wouldn't have done anything and just followed on after Balrick, but
Fair enough.
An incredible image. Just a giant walking
Yeah.
across the mountain.
just following in your
eventually-
footsteps.
Eventually we'll get used to it. But at the moment, just every time there's something with Togrim and Balrick, it's hilarious.
3 steps for every one of yours.
Tauri, and Aderyn, actually. You have noticed that as he stormed off, vaguely initially in the direction of the Scaleguard station, but then kind of veered off slightly, and you see him talking to rather mundane-looking figure, just kind of off to the side, hefting a backpack, and just starts having a conversation with him.
That's the mayor, yeah.
Yeah.
Jugo.
Jugo is the proper title, but Mayor is the equivalent.
I'm going to assume I have the writ. We got that writ,
Yeah.
don't we? And I'm literally going to storm up, stand tower over whoever the guy in front of the stable is. Hopefully it's the same one.
Yeah.
But,
So as you kind of approach up, there's the same two you spoke to earlier this morning are still there, and the stable hands who kind of wanted to get on things, they're just sitting on some hay bales by the front door, just killing time. As you approach, oh, you're back then, are you?
Let me in.
Stable's still
Alright, and stable. Is that the guards?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Let me
stable's still closed, mate. Might as well drink the day out.
Lift the writ, shove it in his face. Let me in.
Fuck's the captain doing hiring a random scruffy ranger?
I know what I'm doing.
Did the captain just hire Balrick, or was it all of us?
Yes.
Depends the liberty you want to take with it.
The captain went, if you can help, help. To
Yeah.
all of us as a group.
Essentially. Chris, you're weirdly off center on camera. It's quite funny. In the top corner.
Yeah.
You were pulling an Emma, or Emma was sliding off screen at some point. And you were just up here.
Yeah.
And Andrew's doing it now. I ain't gonna argue with the captain, to be honest. I'd rather keep this job. Fine, but just don't fuck with anything that. No, you don't care. Let's the two of you through anyway, as you're the two that are there. This stable is extensive. It is clear that this is meant to handle a lot of pack animals because they expect a lot to be coming through the town. There's 4 banks of stables separated by kind of walkways. It's fairly packed. It's relatively close in here, but there's enough space for like a horse and everything to walk through. Speaking of which, there isn't any other animals in here. Those that were fine following the attack have probably been moved out for their own well-being and stress and everything like that, because the smell in here is awful. It is a heady mixture of horse manure, goat manure, ox manure, blood, offal, and damp hay.
Delicious.
Disgusting.
What to do? I'll go up to where the goat was stabled, and Gobar was stabled. I think I'm aware Togrim's following, but I'm not really I'm focused. You know?
Yeah, I'm probably just following along.
Yeah, I'll just go over to where the paddock not paddock. What's the word? Can't remember what the word. The individual stable in the stable. Stall.
Stall. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go into the stall in which Gobar was. See if I can start there.
Sure. What are you? I mean, as you approach this, when you're heading in that direction, it's clear that you're heading towards much more of the damage and carnage.
The epicenter.
Yeah. The stall that Gobar was in isn't at the epicenter by any means. It's kind of, as you approach that, you can clearly see that there's more disturbance, there's more damage to the woodwork. But you do come to that stall, and I mean, the wooden door that leads into it is smashed apart. And your goat's not in there. Anything particularly kind of looking forward, trying to find that?
I mean, all of my gear and stuff that was with the goat, you said that's gone, hasn't it? That's not.
There is bits and pieces lying around, but being who you are, it was relatively well secured. So like some stuff's kind of come off for what was left behind.
The important stuff is still attached though.
Yes, that kind of, because I mean, what would have happened is like the pack saddlebags essentially that would have been on the back of him would have been taken off and left in here.
Mm-hmm.
So it wouldn't have been on him, but the thing is, a lot of the stuff that was in that was animal goods of varying descriptions. So it's also kind of got, let's say, bits and pieces are there, like scraps of skin and other kind of chunks of meat, but the really secure stuff that you made sure wouldn't have fallen off the saddlebags is gone.
Is it like all the stalls have been broken into from the outside, from like the main hallway, or?
Roll an investigation check.
Did you say the stuff that was really secured, the important stuff, that's gone?
Yeah, the saddlebags themselves are gone.
Saddlebags have been taken away. Okay.
Yeah.
23.
23. Most look like they've been broken inwards, as in into the stall itself.
Okay.
A couple, including, to be honest, this one, broken outwards.
Huh.
Was someone saying to it? Wasn't noting. I would like to look for like claw marks or any sort of sign inside the stall of something that would have entered, like what type of creature or person did this. Maybe look at the body for if there's any injuries. What
So,
type of injury I can see.
Is there a body or just blood?
Or has the goat been taken away? The bodies have been taken. Or is that?
There's no body of a goat in here.
Oh, okay. Well, I'd like to look at the walls and stuff and see if there's like.
Yeah, as I say, there's from your brief glance, there are body parts in here, including human limbs.
Oh, the two guards, yeah.
But yeah, the majority is just left behind, kind of spilled intestines and bloodstains on hay. Roll me an investigation check.
I'm looking for any like identifying markers of like a type of creature, like a claw marks, what type of injuries these pieces might have sustained. That investigation was a 10.
A 10. You get some like fairly obvious stuff. A lot of the wood has sustained kind of like slashing damage from large claw marks. You would put it down to. And like the physical size and strength that would be required to break in these doors would require something of the magnitude of a horse or a giant goat. So they're clearly larger beasts. Yeah, with a 10, you're not getting much more than that. I mean, like, the other thing I will give you with that, like, the sheer level of destruction in here and, like, amount of blood that was spilt, you either presume this thing was either one giant thing capable of a lot of destruction or more than one thing.
Can I do a medicine check to sort of see motive-wise? Is this like a feeding, like looking at the parts, is this feeding or is this like just a murderous frenzy sort of thing?
Yeah, go for it. Roll a medicine check. Is there anything you want to do, Togrim?
Not 20.
I don't know. I was thinking of casting Identify, but I don't have Pearl or worth 100 gold, and B don't. It's not like one object to identify it, like a whole place.
Balrick will go, Togrim, see if you can find where it came in to the stables.
Okay. I'll go looking around for that.
Cool. Roll me a survival check for that while I cover the nat 20. The nat 20 is going to retroactive as well. As you start kind of digging into the bodies, one of the first things you actually pull out is in various like quarter-like bits of the scale armor of the guards left behind, is like dark black fur. But like you hold it up to like one of the beams of sunlight passing through, and it's got like a slight iridescent sheen to it, almost kind of like spilt oil in sunlight kind of thing. And then further looking kind of at these bodies, clearly these guards had their weapons drawn. Like there is an arm lying, or forearm lying around with a sword clutched in it, and you can see in places like sword swings that have hit the wood, which could just be these guards were bad and rusty, but like the sheer volume of them implies that they were missing a lot and hitting wood instead of whatever creature it was. In terms of that kind of the nature of the attack, the fact that there's not a lot of complete bodies here implies that they've either been consumed or taken away by this creature, which makes you very confident that this was a feeding exercise. Either they were eating here or killing and then taking corpses with them. Sorry, I've got something in my throat. And you can kind of see blood trail marks, as in like full on drags out towards. So just checking my. Yeah, to be honest, out the back, like towards the back. And the last thing you get is you take a closer look at the Scale Guard armor after you kind of got the fur out of it. And there's a lot of weird indentations in it. Where, like, you had previously noticed on the wood and various things, there's, like, large claw swipe marks. Like, on some of the thighs and, like, around the pleat, the leather kind of skirts of this armor, there's a lot more, like, smaller, like, hook tears. Like, barbed tears in the stuff. That's very different from the claws.
I rolled a 5 for my survival check, so I don't really think I'm spotting anything conclusive.
Yeah, it's such a like chaotic mess of blood and everything in here that you very quickly lose the direction as to which way they came in or out of, essentially.
Yeah, I'm just wandering around, sort of like disgusted for the most part.
Yeah.
I'll call Togrim over then. You find out.
I can't make heads or tails of this.
Follow me. There's this blood trail going out back then, and we'll head out back.
Yep.
Do you have a bag of some kind, like a little pouch? Do you have like a Ziploc evidence bag?
No.
Is that on the Artificer item list? Ziploc bags.
I do have some glass bottles.
Could you put some of this in? And it's the fur, the beast fur.
Okay, yeah. I'll pull out a bottle and put it in it.
Three of you outside. At this point, Lesley has noticed one of the caravans kind of waiting around has got some gorgeous textiles and has been thoroughly distracted and has wandered off and says he will catch up with you when you have something important that will pull him away from this. Sadly, Emma can't be here this week, so Lesley's easily distracted. Lesley is a magpie.
Hey, I'll look at some scarves. He's got a York accent, doesn't he?
Hey up, scarves.
Hey, scarves, it's so pretty. That's Lesley. Easy.
Yes, the three of you who are
Flawless
outside
Lesley impression.
insulting a noble and organising caravans. Is there anything you want to be doing?
Can I try and go towards where the mayor went to speak to this mysterious figure and just kind of like try and speak luckily?
Yeah, like you keep an eye on it and just like wait for the conversation to finish before kind of heading over. And you do see like the person like bring the backpack down and like pull something out of it. Roll me a perception check.
I think that's a 10.
A 10. You see them kind of hand a package off to the Jugo, and the Jugo kind of pays for it. Just kind of a trader waiting around, and Jugo bought something off them, I guess.
Okay. Does the guy then leave? The guy with the thing?
The Jugo then heads off, heading north to the stick in the direction of the Scale Guard station. The individual then kind of like starts wandering in towards the caravans. Like just like it's a large body of people and just starts heading in kind of thing.
Can I go talk to him?
If you want, yeah.
Yep.
Aderyn, I'm just gonna help them move some stuff, you two. So if you need anything, give me a shout. Yeah.
Okay. That's very nice of you. Have fun. I'm gonna snoop mode.
So So the important question is: are you trailing them or trying to catch up to talk to them?
I'm gonna trail them.
Okay. Roll me a stealth check.
19 plus. Dirty 20.
They rolled a natural 1. They're completely unaware that you're following them, and you just kind of see them like passing through the caravans. They're just like taking a look at the various goods, strike up a couple of conversations here and there, but they're always like very fleeting conversations. Roll me an insight check to go with this.
Okay. That was a nat 1, but it's a total of 5.
Nothing about what they're doing feels like shady or anything. It just seems to be a lone merchant, you would guess, interacting with other merchants as they start kind of wandering through, but they're still not entirely aware of your presence at all.
Since they don't seem as shady, I'll just go up and talk to them.
Yeah.
If they're not shady, they must be nice.
You catch them kind of looking in one of these very sturdy wagons, kind of just like looking under the tent a second, completely unaware of your approach.
Hey, you.
Huh?
You merchant?
Sure.
I don't know, I'm asking you. Do you not know?
I mean, define a merchant.
Someone that sells something?
Then yeah, I'm a merchant.
Okay, what do you sell?
Why are you asking?
Surely to buy. If I'm interested, I don't know. Depends on what you're selling. So what are you selling?
You don't have a look at the scale guard. Where are you from?
Not from here. Where are you from?
Also, not from here. How not from here?
Pretty not from here. You?
I get around.
Are you sure you're a merchant?
Well, by your definition, I am.
You sell drugs, don't you?
Well. Do you want some?
Which ones do you have?
I mean, currently I've just got devil weed, but you know, I'm working my way up.
Is that what you're doing here? You're selling drugs?
Hey, look, people ask, they contact us, we get it in.
Do you get lots of customers, like high-end customers?
Yeah, we make it work. I mean, I'm not one to divulge my customers. I mean,
No, yes, of course. I respect privacy. If the mayor wants to buy drugs from you, then he can buy drugs from you. It's not my business.
wait. Who said anything about? Who said anything about the Shugo?
Yeah, no, I'm not saying anything. You saying anything?
I'm not saying nothing.
I'm a very discreet person. With a very
Do
big
you know what discreet means?
Yes.
Because you're quite eye-catching, that's all.
Oh, thank you. That will get you nowhere. So you sold him drugs, right? Don't worry, I'm not gonna tell. I don't judge. He seemed like he needed them. He seems like a very stressed person.
All I did was complete a transaction with an interested customer. I am not at liberty to discuss what was sold or for how much.
Okay, what's in your bag?
My stuff.
Yeah, can I see? Because
No.
maybe I'll. But how else are you going to sell to me if I don't?
I've already told you what I've got. You don't need to look in here. Do you want
Okay.
some of
Well, how many different things do you have?
that? As I told you, I've got devil weed. I may come back with more stuff in future. Still trying to work on that. But
So you just have the one thing right now.
well, I mean, how into drugs are you?
Why are you asking? I thought you were discreet.
I mean, look, if you're asking about them, I can get you other stuff. It might take a little bit of time, but I can get you other stuff.
Did you have other stuff before your discreet transaction?
No. Well. Hey, stop. Why'd you
Look,
care what other people...
No, I just want to know if he stole the
Keep your
good stuff.
voice down.
Sorry, okay. Did he take the last of the good stuff? Is that why you won't tell me?
Devilweed is perfectly good stuff.
So that's what you gave them.
How do you think this we're going in circles at this point. Do you want stuff or not?
Sure. Open the bag and give me some. Wait, how much is it?
Well, how much are you looking to get?
Well, that depends on the price.
Okay. Well, if you're looking for enough to get you through a couple of nights of relaxing, shall we say, you're probably looking at call it 80 gold.
The gold?
I mean, you look like you got money, you look like you can handle it.
Yeah, but like, how strong is your stuff? 80 gold is a lot, you know, because I don't want to invest that much. I've never tried this one. I don't know if it's good, you know. I don't want to pay that much for like a taster. Do you have taster packages?
No, we don't. We don't work like that. People know what they want and they get what they want. Like, this stuff is perfectly
You're
well.
never gonna get new customers
You're
that
not
way.
from the Empire, are you? So let me. This stuff is grown in by excellent hands in an excellent place, just downriver, and it's distributed perfectly well. Look, it does the job. It makes you relax. Just don't take a lot of it. That's like, you've done Devilweed before, yeah?
Maybe it might be called something else where I'm from. I don't know. I've not
Only
actually
other term I've heard for it is Fey Leaf.
Let's say I haven't. So what would the symptoms be other than being relaxed?
It can make you feel. Come over here. He like leads you off to an alleyway, so he's like out of the way. Like, if you're serious about this, Devilweed's it's easy. Just smoke, enjoy, relax. Provided you don't smoke, you know, multiple days worth in one go, you're gonna be fine. You might feel a little ill afterwards or during if you're not used to the whole thing, but it'll fade. It's fine. Like some bodies don't really like the whole feeling, and they'll throw up. It's quite funny, if I'm honest, watching.
Okay.
Idiot nobles. Anyway.
The nobles, they throw up if they usually, unless they're used to it. Yeah, that makes sense. Is it your first day here? So all your customers today and new customers?
No, I've been here a few times. Yeah.
Okay.
You're new though. I've never seen you before.
Yes, no, I'm new.
But you look like you've got an interesting life and might lead to interesting clientele. So, you know, ain't one to look a gift horse in the mouth, am I?
Yes, well, I will definitely keep you in mind. Where can I find you?
In and around. You can make contacts. Just have a chat with Aderyn next time you're needing something in town. Shoot her a message to me. You know where we are. We're everywhere.
That's very dodgy, but I will keep that in mind. Thank you very much.
So you're not buying anything today then?
Well, not right now. You think I carry that kind of money around with me? Look at me. I'm eye-catching. People would rob me.
What do you say? Half an evening? You know, just late in, like just before you go into bed. Or maybe even just to start your night. 20 gold.
Last me?
You'll have a decent early evening and be coming down by the time you want to go to bed. Mind you, I don't know when you want to go to sleep, but, you know, normal people.
Okay, deal. I'm gonna hand over 20 gold. It's gonna make me so full.
What on earth is this conversation? What?
It's the two most nervous people trying to agree to buy drugs.
I couldn't tell whether that was a legitimate drug deal or like just an investigation. It was very like Brooklyn Nine-Nine Peralta investigation style. Like,
I'm not entirely sure which way this is going, but I'm interested.
like what?
It's an investigation. Trust the process.
We did just bought drugs.
This is going to end up one of two ways. Aderyn has drugs, or Aderyn is stabbed to death in an alleyway.
I mean, to be fair, it could go both ways of that.
I was listening to that conversation fully, and I don't know what on like that was like.
The important thing is Aderyn now has drugs.
That's the title. Aderyn now has drugs.
No, just the title is drugs.
Aderyn now has drugs. I think is quality.
Anyways, thank you.
He hands you he digs in, like it's brown like paper packages, like folded over, and he like brings out like a flick knife and just like cuts one in half before handing you, and like inside it is like some very mottled green and brown leaves that are relatively well like packed in. And he goes, should do you a couple.
Great.
And, he then takes the other one and grabs another like piece of paper and like folds up his half, puts it back.
So sad Emma's not here to witness
Nice.
this.
Well, I will be discreet. You'll be discreet.
This conversation never happened, and
Yeah,
I don't
never
need
happened.
to bye.
Oh, great. Bye. I'm gonna go and pretend it never happened until I meet up with Lesley at some point later in the future.
On
Roll me a
back to
perception check.
No, not back to the murder. Still staying on the drug deal.
We'll get to the murder in a second.
I've got a theory. So
Am I doing a perception check?
Yes, please.
You two are going to get high for half an evening.
23.
23. Jeez.
one person's worth.
Um,
So we
one
went for a quarter of an evening.
one thing you do notice during this whole conversation is like this guy is like it seemed like his nervous tick was like pushing his sleeves up. Like he wasn't used to being confronted in this way. This isn't how this stuff usually happens. But you do catch just above the elbow when he pushes his sleeve up a little too high, a small 3 chain links just like on the outside of the arm. Tattoo. Back in the stables.
I'm fine with your drugs now.
Yeah. Still a lot of
I really thought that was going to get somewhere. It just ended with, you've got drugs.
things. This is high-end investigation just because you can't appreciate it.
We'll be back to the stables. I have a theory, but I'm going to wait to find out more before I say it, so I don't ruin things too early.
The first step in a multi-year big
I will ask
operation.
Kevin, as my specialism as a hunter is monstrosities,
Mhm.
I have a feeling this is a monstrosity. Is this a monstrosity? Can you confirm?
It's a reasonable assumption, but then again, like most giant animals can be considered monstrosities.
I'm going to say it later. But... Continue with the investigation first. Not jump to conclusions. You got the back door. Me and Togrim.
You go out the back door. So the back door is like some small like stable hand doors. They're not doors large enough for horses or anything to head through. And there's like a storage unit with some various like pieces of equipment, like mucking out equipment and de-horseshoeing equipment, that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, these doors seem relatively intact. Doesn't look like anything went out this way.
So the blood trail ended before then.
Yeah, it kind of faded that way, like as in the same way that kind of epicenter, and then outwards from there.
So something was dragged and then it just stopped.
So something was dragged to the back, and then it kind of stopped. And I'll tell you what, rolling over that natural 20 as you kind of followed it, you realise that there is enough like padding around here from like fairly large pores based on the like displacement of the hay and stuff like that. That whatever it was kind of like then turned around and headed back out the other way as it realised that like, it couldn't get out this way.
I'm trying to follow that trail.
Okay. Roll me a survival check.
How many, while we're looking around, like how many individual stalls have had an animal in them being eaten? Like how many are covered in blood?
Probably close to somewhere between half a dozen and a dozen.
Okay. So like a lot of food if something's eating them all.
Yeah.
17 was my survival.
17. Yeah. That blood trail leads out of the front doors of the stables, which now you're not so busy dealing with the scale guards from letting you in and out. You realise that the doors to the stables are gone. Like, this place should have like fairly solid wooden doors. They've been removed, as in like. You assume that it's possibly like been taken away to clear a way to get in more easily, but essentially the doors are gone, and you assume that whatever broke in through the front doors. Essentially,
I assume the hinges are like shattered or something.
Yeah.
And then obviously, the moment to step outside the doors, the trail is gone because traffic.
Yeah, there's been a lot of foot traffic around, so clear and obvious. However, there is, from what you can see, like initial, like still some blood spatter that's soaked into places. 17 is a fairly decent roll for this. That heads westward from the stable, so like across the courtyard towards where the wagons are kept in like this large like open parking lot, for lack of a better term, and then that direction for pity's sake. So the stables are here, and the blood trail leads somewhat in that direction.
Isn't that
that's
the
the logical
pub? Isn't that the pub that we were staying at, or is that?
So the pub you were staying at is there.
Okay, fine. So it goes towards the scale guard, did you say?
No, scale guard are like up here.
Okay, no. So it goes. Right, so we've got a rough direction, and I've got maybe a theory about what this creature is. Shall we gather everyone, or do we think we can find some more?
Can we see them at the minute? Are they like busy doing drug deals or?
You can't see Aderyn at the minute. Aderyn at the minute. But Ximori and Tauri are just... Ximori's like lugging some stuff and moving it between wagons. I'm not sure what Tauri's doing at the minute, if I'm honest.
I'm not sure either.
I mean, that conversation probably lasted a little bit, but...
Yeah, I think she was just kind of keeping an eye on what's happening with the merchants and stuff. Maybe not getting involved, but just watching. +3, I think. Perception, 17.
17. There's some other people milling around. You can see towards where the blacksmith is next to the wagon lot. There is a couple of individuals wearing kind of rough beaten leathers. You make it out to be kind of black dragonborn and half elf, you think, from this distance. Each with like a large crossbow like slung over their shoulder, just kind of chatting, and occasionally cracking some jokes, it seems. You'd assume them to be hunters of some kind.
Can I kind of not get close, but sidle up, see what I can overhear?
Yeah, I mean, you do draw a little bit of attention, but they kind of like peg you as you kind of head over, but not overly interested in reaching out to you. And I mean, all you really get is them like talking about how like this many people hanging around is kind of annoying, and it's scaring all the wildlife off for them at the minute, and they kind of wish that people were heading out. They're just kind of idly chatting to each other.
Yeah, I'll
They seem to know each other quite well.
continue on, not really stop.
Well.
Go find out where the others are.
At this point, you see Balrick heading out of the stable, closely followed by his mini-me. As they head out, kind of following something, and then Balrick gets immediately like frustrated, like the trail kind of goes dead.
Not finding anything.
Got some ideas.
I didn't think there was anything useful in there.
I found some things. Can I just like, because I'm specialised in monstrosities, the thing that I think it is a monstrosity. Can I assume that I would know about the thing that Balrick would think about the thing that is?
I think that's entirely reasonable, especially also considering some elements if you're thinking what I think you're thinking.
Yes. So,
Mind link.
Still pondering what
It
I'm
feels-
pondering.
it feels like I'm right. There's a lot of things that point towards what it is. It might not be. It would be really cool if it isn't. Really cool if it is. I'm very proud of myself if it is. Alright. I found some things. Togrim, can I get a look at that third again?
Sure, yeah. I'll hand over the vial.
Can I look to see if the fur has any sort of magical qualities?
I mean, you can roll an Arcana check if you want.
Alright, I'm not proficient. Or maybe Togrim, can you does that fur have any sort of magical qualities?
I can take a look.
I've got a theory with it.
Roll an Arcana check, Stephen.
17.
17. I mean, you look at it, and like the way that it catches the light wouldn't be something you would expect from a natural beast. From your upbringing, like in burrows and that stuff, like moles occasionally have this kind of sheen. But like this is like it occasionally like just messes with your eyes a little bit, and you just got to kind of refocus on it.
It's weird stuff. This it's got like a shine to it. Can you see that?
And you, does it do that thing where you like try to focus on it and it kind of shifts your eye away from it?
Yeah, like I can't look at it properly.
I'm pretty solid on this. I'm pretty confident. Whether it is or not, I don't know. If it is, it's dangerous. I reckon this is a displacer beast.
I figured it was dangerous from the mess it made of the stables, but
So, if you notice on the walls
what's a
in the
displacer
stable,
beast?
the bit that's dangerous about it is that if you notice on the walls in the stables, I don't know if you did, lots of sword marks. So the guards came in, they couldn't hit it. And the thing about displacer beast is if you look at that fur, it shifts your eyes. You can't see it properly. It sort of illusions itself.
Yeah.
It's hard to hit it. The very dangerous hunter looks a bit like a big cat with lots of legs and some tentacles.
Ooh, I don't like the sound of that.
All the big claws and the claw marks on the walls, which would be the claws of the big cat. And then it had these. I'm dropping the accent now. I'm going up. Scotland. Buddy. It's got them big claws that gashed the wall, but then there's in the armor there was these little barbs which could fit the tentacles. So I'm thinking, displacer beast, big creature, likes to eat. If it is that, it's dangerous. Where you're gonna need everyone on it.
Should we go and tell the captain what you think it is, or
Yeah, should we
do you
gather
want to
everyone
just
there
go and hunt it?
Or
I reckon we should get someone else on it.
look around at this place? They're kind of not great. We might be the only ones who can deal with it.
I mean, you can try. It ate whole stables. I'm not keen on fighting it, I'll be honest.
At least this time, seeing as we know what it is, we can possibly try and work out how we can combat some of its abilities.
Mayhaps.
Balrick. Roll me Arcana with advantage.
Can I see him trying to think? This is not an insult.
How long does Bardic Inspiration last?
10 minutes.
Yeah, you won't have that anymore.
So yeah.
Can I see you trying to have a think?
You hear the gears whirring up speed.
I don't know what Balrick's intelligence is.
I am investigating things and piecing things together in my head.
I'll cast guidance on you.
What are the components for guidance?
No, wait, I don't have guidance. I'm not a cleric. Never mind.
Anyway.
Right, that was me thinking I was the other character from the Saturday game.
15 plus, what was it, Arcana?
Arcana, yeah.
15 plus 2, 17 again. We're getting lots of 17s.
Lots of 17s today. You have some experience with Displacer Beasts. For one, you are a monster hunter in previous current life, arguably. But two, from the region that you're from, Displacer Beasts are traditionally not of the material plane. You know that Displacer Beasts are originally from the Feywild. You also know that they are originally from specifically the Court of Night and Shadows in the Feywild. They were bred there, which means they are classically stronger and more dangerous at night.
Alright, Displacer Beasts, the night creatures, the night hunters, nocturnal, and they're obviously inherently quite magical. They gain power at night. I think it's morning now, and it's mid-morning.
Yeah, it's mid-late morning at this point.
I think it's very valuable, but that we try and find it as soon as we can. Hunt it down. We can let the guard know really quickly, but we've got to really insist that we are hunting it down quickly. And I'm not going to pressure you to do it with me. I'm a monster hunter by trade, but Displacer Beasts are very dangerous creatures. I've never taken one down alone. We'd have to work as a team with whoever we can get.
Well, I suppose it's a good thing you probably won't be doing it by yourself then.
I'd appreciate that.
I don't like the idea of leaving the town to deal with it. I mean, there are already 6 guards down.
Yeah. If we can deal with it as soon as possible. We'll go to the guards, see if they have anyone to help, but I think they're not going to have anyone spare.
Yeah, we need to be careful and tactical about how we fight it if we're going to try.
Hopefully, if it's fully fed and it's a nocturnal creature, we might be able to catch it sleeping. If we can find it soon enough, we just need to pick up the trail.
Which way do you think it went?
Oh, the blood trail kind of indicates that direction, but it's quite a wide spread. It could be half a town.
Aderyn, at this point, as you kind of sidle up over to these various people, you kind of catch that. You've been in town long enough to know what is in that direction. Beyond the town is Waylor Woods, which is the relatively sizable forest just outside of town. Big enough to be hunting in, and a small amount of lumber can be acquired.
That was you, wasn't it?
Sorry,
Yeah.
I believe that.
You've been in town long enough to know. Yeah, you've been in town long enough to know that in the direction that Balrick pointed, beyond town is Waylor Woods, which is kind of that wild area where the hunters traditionally kind of hunt and do stuff.
So
Am I back in the group?
you have walked up to, like, just
You've seen that, like.
Yeah, I was confused. I was like, I'm not there though.
No,
Okay,
yeah. You've walked towards, because you finished yours, walked towards us. You haven't heard our whole conversation, but I've just gone, it's over there somewhere.
Over there, that's where the forest is. Did you find something out?
there's a forest. You've made me sleep in a city when there's a forest nearby.
You are a strange
Oh,
being.
we might know what creatures done all this.
You do. Oh, that's...
And if there's a forest nearby, it's probably that'll be where its den is.
What creature is it?
Dangerous beast called a displacer beast.
Laser beast.
I'll explain more later.
Oh, okay.
I've gone through it.
Definitely don't want to be sleeping in the forest with that thing.
Yeah, true. Right. What we're gonna do is we'll grab Ximori. I think Ximori's. Oh, was Ximori part of that conversation, or was Ximori busy?
Ximori, like you were loading something up on a wagon and realised that those lot were standing over there. Whether you approach or continue doing your manual labour, it's up to you.
All right, they're all together. Well, it's probably worth me going over to them. So, you got the rest?
Do you reckon you did that?
Yeah.
Do you reckon you heard all the conversation, or are you just walking over now?
Basically, none of it.
All right, Ximori. I was just about to say we'll go get you. You'll be valuable. We've got a big beastie monster to kill.
Oh, fun.
See, he doesn't need details.
Yes,
Like this person.
he is partially insane.
Jury's out.
Yeah,
I mean, if the jury is out, then...
Anyway, Lesley? Is Lesley around?
You can't see him.
I think they're still looking at silks.
Deep into the pile of perhaps.
He's swimming in silk at the minute.
When scarves are involved, he can take days, so I don't think we should wait.
Well, it's fine. We'll. It's a shame. You seem like a good fighter, but
Yes.
we'll
Wait.
do that.
How dangerous is this again? I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm not very
I'm
good.
pretty
with
sure he
that.
just sort of immediately hid under a table.
I wasn't gonna say that. Oh, I think Lesley killed, or at least injured a guy.
I
Not
don't know. Last I saw of Lesley, they were under a table. So
I don't know. Maybe Lesley would tell him tall tales.
Useful in other ways, you know. I could keep.
I didn't say you had to come on the fight. You can stay behind if you want. We're gonna fight a beast.
Okay, I can just stay on the edge and keep watch for you.
All right, come along.
Things, you know, while you were finding out whatever this beast is, I was doing my own investigating, and I saw the mayor conducting some very suspicious.
All right, but we were hunting down what the monster was, why it's done what it's done, and where it's gone, and I found out all three of them.
so I have a sudden craving for cheese puffs.
Yeah, I saw the mayor talking with someone very suspicious, and I discovered what it was.
All right, I'm sure that's very valuable somehow. Not right now, but
Okay.
right. Shall we go towards the? Shall we go tell the captain where we're going? It's falling apart. My accent's terrible.
Probably best.
Please,
Yes.
for the best, in case, you know, they need to retrieve our bodies.
Cool.
I don't think they're gonna care.
You head up to the Scale Guard station and find Captain Poligi again. Oh, back already then? Solved problems?
It's very good. Balrick's very good.
I love to hear it.
I know what I'm doing. Not problem solved, but problem identified. Got a displacer.
Okay.
You got a displacer beast in the town, I think.
They're just stories, aren't they?
Oh no. You should go to the. Never mind.
Yeah, sounds about right for this week.
30 creatures.
Okay. Well,
So, kill it.
I'm a monster hunter by trade, so I'll go deal with it. These guys are gonna help.
that sounds more dangerous than I anticipated, and I think if you're going to take this on, as you seem rather engaged to do, I might add, there will be some sort of monster hunting bounty upon a successful completion.
I mean, given this thing ate like what 6 guards, probably best not to send more of them after it.
Well, yes, there's enough of you. There was another one of you, I thought.
Oh, there's silks involved apparently, so he's busy.
Whatever.
He's doing official business.
If he
Whatever.
comes behind you, point him in that direction. We're going to the forest, downtown.
Might be worth talking to Valna and what's the other one's name? Senno. They're two hunters that frequent Wylor Woods fairly frequently. They might have some information for you.
What was that? Someone in Cello?
Valna and Senno. Senno is a black dragonborn. You can't miss her. Valna, half elf, far too cocky for his own good.
Right.
Do we need to prepare anything before we head off, Balrick?
I mean, you probably prepare some sort of covering to protect your vital organs.
What?
I mean, I don't have any way of doing that. I've got some leather on, and that's as good as I got right now.
Right, if we've got some ingredients and stuff, I'll create some Witcher potions. Are we ready? I'm very Witcher right now.
You got any
Gonna
blade
take
oil?
some levels in Blood Hunter, Chris, yeah?
Right. Is there anything I'd think of to prepare for a displacer beast? Not just obviously not saying that that's what it is, but what would I?
For a displacer, I mean, not particularly. It's not like they have any particular weapon vulnerabilities, or anything like that. I mean, making sure you have torchlight in case, for whatever reason, you get caught in a shadowy place is helpful. Any other hunting gear you can think of?
Is there anything that disrupts the displacer beast's ability?
Not that you know of, other than kind of like stopping them. Like half of it comes from the movement. It's not just standing perfectly still, they're fine. Like the fact that they're moving adds to that confusion element.
Right,
If you
I'll
can make them
say-
stand still.
I'll say that, and then maybe if we've got some nets. Displacer beasts, the movie, that their whole illusion comes from movement. They're very avoidant. If we could figure out some way to like trap it in place and like immobilize it.
I guess if we buy a net from town, we could put it
Yeah,
over
net or
the
some.
den entrance.
I mean, some ropes with some rocks on the end. You know, like tangle up the legs, sort of thing.
Yeah.
You can grab some nets. It's easy enough to acquire, or essentially from various traders or whatever. A net's a gold piece each, so decide how many nets you want.
I'll grab one. Anyone else know how to use one?
I'll
No.
pay for one, but I can't throw one.
I can probably throw a net. I can throw most things. I can throw Togrim with a net.
Please don't throw me.
I'm not going to
I
throw
don't want to be near the displacer beast.
Especially
not tangled up in a net with it.
Use it is the proficiency thing in it, so I think it's only me and Ximori that are proficient in martials.
It's a martial weapon, yeah.
Yeah.
So, alright, me and Ximori will go at it with nets. We'll get a net each.
Cool.
Any ways that we can immobilize it? Maybe if you can, Ximori, just grabbing it, literally grabbing it. But,
Yeah, if I get close enough, I'll just grab hold of it.
I don't know what else to do aside from that. What are you? So
I've
Focal,
got my crossbow to
you got-
use. I'll
you got
just stand
focal
back
back.
and shoot it.
Tauri, you, I assume, since the captain, we're allowed to use some. Tauri's a licensed magician, licensed mage.
In this instance, I think you're going to be outside the town anyway, so the locals aren't going to panic or anything like that. I think, provided you're not going to end up burning down the forest and drawing unwanted attention, I think you're fine.
Tauri, is your magic the kind to like burn down the forest?
No, it's mostly illusion.
Right, might help.
Can't see a
What?
problem with that.
Do you offer, Aderyn?
To keep watch, and if things go really bad, go call for help.
She'll
Or
talk at it.
worst case, I help retrieve your bodies.
Alright.
That is actually quite useful.
Good to have another pair of eyes at least.
Alright, fine. Yeah, I don't have an idea for you, I'm afraid. Sorry, I'm sure you're very useful, and you seem very useful.
I'm very good at bonking people in the head with my staff.
Alright.
It's very high quality.
Look, I
This
accept.
crystal, heavy.
I accept. You're a city person. I'm a wilderness person. We've got different specialisms. You got us into the show. I'm gonna help us kill a monster.
You think I'm useless,
I
though?
don't think you're useless. You've got useless.
I feel very judged.
By the way, I realise I've been saying the west end of town and I've meant the east the entire time.
There's no forest here.
Showing it.
I don't know.
Oh yeah,
why.
there it is.
Every time I look at a map,
Aderyn.
I know my east and west, and then in mid-conversation I'm like, yeah, east. No, west.
All right.
Wait, what? Yeah, anyway.
Aderyn,
East
we
side
don't
of
think you're
town.
useless, but that direction is clearly east.
So, 1 gold piece for the net.
Yeah.
Oh no! I'm deleting giant goat off my inventory.
Oh no!
Well, with that, as you acquire some goods and head towards the east side of town, I think is a pretty decent place for us to take a stop. So we'll see what happens next time. See ya.